Hello students, welcome back to the nuclear reactions. That is the second video in this nuclear reactions. So in this session we will be dealing about the conservation laws in nuclear reactions. So we have seen already some conservation laws in beta decay. So similarly nuclear reaction is also a that is nuclear process, that is where some conservation laws are to be satisfied. So there is certain physical conservation laws must be satisfied for the nuclear reaction to take place. So what are the nuclear there is a conservation laws or the physical quantities that are to be satisfied for this conservation laws is, that is the first one we have the conservation of charge. So there is conservation of electric charge, or just it is conservation of charge. See, in case of any nuclear reaction, okay, let us consider a nuclear reaction where X is your target nucleus, and when it is bombarded with a projectile A, so we have a there is a nucleus, there is a daughter nucleus or the residual nucleus that is being formed. So Y is the daughter product nucleus or the residual nucleus that is formed, and with the ejectile as B. So this is our nuclear reaction. So this equation can also be written as in the format like this. That is, X is your target nucleus, we have the projectile followed by an ejectile, and next we have the target nucleus or residual nucleus or the product nucleus, right? So this is our nuclear reaction equation. So for any nuclear reaction, so this target nucleus and the projectile will be commonly called as the reactants. So commonly these two are called as reactants, and this residual nucleus or the product nucleus and the ejectile, these are commonly called as the products. That is, after the nuclear reaction, whatever the nucleus that is being formed, there is nothing but the residual nucleus and the ejectile. So these two are commonly called as the products. Okay, so we say that especially in case of conservation laws of nuclear reaction, we say that this is before reaction and this part is after reaction. So therefore whatever the conservation laws that we are discussing, so there is some physical quantity before the reaction must be equal to the same physical quantity after the reaction. So then we say that that particular physical quantity is been conserved in that particular nuclear reaction. Okay, so this is a thing that we have to keep it in mind. So first let us look into the conservation of electric charge. Okay, so what do you mean, that is what do you mean by conservation of electric charge? Means we all know that it may be a target nucleus, it may be a projectile, or it may be a product nucleus that is formed, or the residual nucleus and the ejectile. So everything is a charged particle, right? So let us look into a simple equation, okay, of nuclear reaction. That is uranium 92-235 plus a neutron. That is, whenever target nucleus uranium 92-235 is bombarded with the neutron, so a compound nucleus will be formed. So that is uranium 92-236. Okay, so which again decays into barium and krypton. So this is 56-141 plus krypton, that is 36 and 92, plus 3 neutrons will be formed, plus energy will be released. Okay, so this is one of the nuclear reaction that we are considering as an example. Okay, see, what do you mean by the charge present on any nucleus? Means it is nothing but the total number of protons that is present inside the nucleus, right? So how many number of protons are there inside this uranium 92-235? Means there are 92 number of protons. Why? Because the atomic number indicates that the total number of protons that is present inside the nucleus. So therefore what is the charge present on this? It is plus 32 into E, where E is the charge of each proton. What is the charge present on the neutron? That is 0, because neutron does not carry any charge. So now here, after the reaction or the products that is being formed, this is the charge present on the nucleus, and on krypton we have 36 into E, and we have the 3 neutrons, right? So if I add these two, okay, that must be equal to the charge before the reaction. Okay, so that is the conservation laws in case of any nuclear reaction. So the physical quantity that what we are considering here is nothing but the electric charge. See, count the total charge before the reaction. It is 92 into E. Okay, 92 into charge of each proton. Okay, and after reaction we have 56 into E plus 36 into E. So this becomes 6, 6, 12, 2, 1, 8, 9. So 92 into E. So the total charge before the reaction and the total charge after the reaction is one and the same. Now the electric charge is said to be conserved in case of this particular nuclear reaction. Okay, so this is how we explain or we deal with the conservation laws in case of a nuclear reaction. So we have seen just the conservation of electric charge. So similarly, there are certain physical quantities that are to be conserved. So first one is we are dealing with charge, and next we have energy, and next we have the linear momentum, next we have the angular momentum, and we conservation of mass number, and so on. So next we shall move on to the another conservation law. So there is conservation of energy. So let us consider again the equation for the nuclear reaction, general equation. There is a target nucleus X, and we have the projectile A, and the residual nucleus that is formed is Y, and the ejectile will be B. So which can also be written as X of A comma B into Y. Now see, as we have discussed in the earlier condition, so there is the total energy of this target nucleus and the projectile before the nuclear reaction must be equal to the total energy of the residual nucleus and the ejectile that is being formed. Okay. Now here initially the target nucleus will be under rest, and only the projectile will be under motion. So the total kinetic energy before the reaction is nothing but entirely the rest mass energy of this projectile and the target nucleus. So therefore the rest mass energy before the reaction must be equal to the rest mass energy of the products that is being formed. So this is what we call as a law of conservation of energy in case of any nuclear reaction. So moving on to the next conservation law. So that is, we have the conservation of linear momentum. So let us consider, that is momentum P of the target nucleus and momentum of the projectile. So capital X indicates your target nucleus, and A represents your projectile. So this must be equal to the linear momentum of the product nucleus that is being formed plus the ejectile that is being ejected. So the linear momentum of the elements before the nuclear reaction, that is the reactants, must be equal to the sum of the linear momentum of the products that is being formed. So if this condition is satisfied, then we say that there is a law of conservation, that is linear momentum is being conserved in case of the nuclear reaction. Okay. So now the target nucleus, usually it will be at rest. So therefore entirely the momentum will be the momentum of this projectile itself. So the momentum before the reaction must be equal to the linear momentum of the residual nucleus and the linear momentum of this ejectile. Okay, so this is your conservation law in case of nuclear reaction for linear momentum. So next we have the conservation of law of angular momentum. Okay, so if you look into the angular momentum part, so the angular momentum is nothing but the vector sum of the spin angular momentum and the orbital angular momentum of the any element, or it may be the product that is a residual nucleus, or it may be the target nucleus. So if you consider any element, so the total angular momentum will be nothing but the vector sum of, okay, so it will be the vector sum of the angular momentum due to orbital motion and angular momentum due to the spin motion. So the vector sum of this is nothing but your angular momentum. This we have seen in your there is earlier videos, okay, in atomic and molecular physics units. Okay, so if you consider the conservation of angular momentum in case of any nuclear reaction, okay, so the angular momentum of the target nucleus and the projectile, okay, must be equal to the total angular momentum of the residual nucleus and the ejectile that is being formed. Okay, so this is the conservation law of there is a conservation of angular momentum in case of nuclear reaction. One thing to be very importantly noted for the conservation of angular momentum is, for any nuclei, if the mass number, okay, so if you are representing a nucleus in this form, that is X is the symbol of the nucleus, Z is its atomic number, and A is its mass number. So if any nucleus, okay, is having a mass number as odd mass number means, then this angular momentum will be an odd multiples of h bar divided by 2. Okay, remember students, if the mass number of any nucleus is an odd number, then the angular momentum of that particular nuclei will be odd multiple of h bar divided by 2. And if it is an there is any nucleus which is having even mass number, then this particular nucleus will be having that is angular momentum of even multiples of h bar divided by 2. I'll repeat once again. If any nucleus is having an odd mass number, then the angular momentum of that particular nucleus will be an odd multiple. So if it is an odd mass number means, then it will be half integral 1 into h bar by 2, 3 into h bar by 2, okay, like this. So this is what we call as odd multiples of h bar by 2. If the mass number of the any nucleus, okay, is an even number, okay, or even mass number, then definitely the angular momentum will be multiples of even multiples of h bar by 2. That is, it may be 2 into h bar by 2, or 4 into h bar by 2, or 6 into h bar by 2, like this. Okay, so this is it is with concern with the angular momentum. So next conservation law that we need to look into is conservation of nucleons. So what do you mean by nucleons? Nucleons is nothing but the sum of the total number of protons and total number of neutrons, so which are collectively called as nucleons. So the sum of total number of protons and total number of neutrons is nothing but known as mass number. So there is nothing but, so it is also called as conservation of mass number. So if you consider any nuclear reaction, so let us take the same example. So we have a projectile as the neutron and uranium 92-235. Okay, so here the total number of if you count the mass number, in case of uranium it is 235, and for neutron it is 1. So what happens to the there is a number of nucleons before the reaction, it is 236. And let us consider this nuclear reaction. There is the different another possibility of nuclear reaction or nuclear fusion reaction. This is particularly, we have another there is a nucleus that is being formed, is nothing but zirconium, that is Zr, with atomic number 40 and mass number 98. And we have another element that is being formed, that is beryllium, so whose atomic number will be 52 and 136, plus 2 neutrons are being released. So if I calculate the mass number before the reaction is 236, so after the reaction the mass number for this is 98, and for beryllium it is 136, plus 2 neutrons is formed, so it is plus 2. So if I add this, so it will be definitely 236. 98 plus 2 it is 100, and plus 136 it is 236. So before reaction the mass number was 236, and after reaction the mass number is 236. So therefore this conservation law is been satisfied in case of nuclear reaction. So let us looking to the next part of the nuclear reaction, that is nothing but the energetics of nuclear reaction. See, during any nuclear reaction, either energy may be released or energy may be absorbed. So those reactions in which energy is being released, so that is, if energy is released in a nuclear reaction, then those reactions are called, then the reaction will be called as exoenergic reaction, or which is also called as exothermic. Okay, so if any nuclear reaction, or in any nuclear reaction, if energy is released, okay, or evolved, okay, so then the nuclear reaction is said to be exorgic reaction or exorgic nuclear reaction. So since energy is being, that is, it will be in the form of heat energy, so therefore it is also called as exothermic nuclear reaction. Suppose if any, that is nuclear reaction, that is if energy is being absorbed, okay, then that is if energy is absorbed in a nuclear reaction, then such a nuclear reaction is called as endorgic nuclear reaction, or which is also called as endothermic, where heat energy must be supplied, that is heat energy is being absorbed in a nuclear reaction, means then the reaction is said to be endorgic reaction, or it is also called as an exothermic reaction. So these are the two different types of nuclear reaction which is based on the energy absorbed or released. So definitely in any reaction, so either energy will be released or energy will be absorbed, definitely. Depending upon the energy absorbed or released, so the nuclear reactions are classified into, again based on the energy release, it is two types. One is exorgic and another is endorgic reaction. So if the energy is being released, then it is called as exorgic, exothermic. If the energy is absorbed, then it is called as an endorgic reaction, or it is also called as endothermic. Okay. So the total amount of energy that is being released or absorbed during any nuclear reaction is called as the Q value of the nuclear reaction. So Q value of nuclear reaction is defined as the total energy that is being released or absorbed during any reaction, that is a nuclear reaction, is what we call it as the Q value of the reaction, that is total energy that is being released or absorbed in a nuclear reaction. So depending upon this, we are going to tell whether it is endorgic or exorgic. Okay. So why there is an energy released or absorbed during any nuclear reaction, or how do we get this energy? So Q value of any reaction is nothing but equal to the mass difference between the reactants and the mass difference that is between the products that is being formed. Okay, so there is the difference in the mass between the reactants and the mass of the products, then this will be equal to the total energy that is being released according to Einstein mass energy relation. So this difference in the mass between the reactants and the products will get converted into energy according to Einstein's mass energy equation, that is E is equal to mc square. Now depending upon the Q value, so if Q value is positive, then it is definitely energy is being released, so this is exorgic, and if Q value is negative, then definitely the reaction will be endorgic. Okay, so if Q is positive, then the reaction is said to be exorgic reaction, that is energy is released, or it is called as exothermic. If Q value is negative, then the reaction is said to be endorgic, or it is also called as an endothermic nuclear reaction. Now let us consider a reaction. Okay, so that is let X is the target nucleus, so for which projectile is been made to bombard, and we have the production of the residual nucleus, and we have the ejectile. Okay, if capital Mx is the mass of the target nucleus, and My is the mass of the residual nucleus that is being formed, and Ma, that is small letter Ma, is nothing but the mass of the projectile, and M small b is nothing but the rest masses of the target and target nucleus and product nucleus, projectile or incident particle or bombarding particle, and this is the mass of the ejectile respectively. Then in terms of Einstein's mass energy relation, this can be written as mx into c square, which gives the rest mass energy of the target, and we have ma into c square plus Ea, where Ea is nothing but the kinetic energy, and this is the rest mass energy of the projectile. Okay, because since the projectile will be in motion, so we have to consider the kinetic energy. So therefore I'll be taking Ea as the kinetic energy of the projectile. Okay, so this is the before reaction, and similarly this must be equal to my into c square, where this is nothing but the rest mass energy of the target that is the product nucleus that is being formed, and Ey is the kinetic energy of the residual nucleus. Why? Because after the nuclear reaction, so these products that is being formed will be moving with a certain velocities, that is the recoil velocities. So therefore we have to consider the kinetic energy of the ejectile and also the product nucleus that is being formed. So if I simplify this equation, I get mx plus ma the c square plus Ea. Why? Because since it will be at rest, so we are not going to take the kinetic energy of this that is the target nucleus into consideration. It is taken as 0. So this must be equal to my plus small mb into c square plus Ey plus, this must be b. Okay, Eb. So our previous equation was mx plus ma into c square plus Ea is equal to my plus m into small b into c square plus Ey plus Eb. Okay, so this was our previous equation. So Q, we are finding out the Q value, so therefore it is nothing but the sum of the kinetic energies before the reaction and after reaction. So therefore that can be written as Ey plus Eb minus Ea. Okay, so this must be equal to definitely the mass difference between the product and the nucleus, that is the rest mass energies of the products and the residual nucleus and the ejectile that is being formed. So therefore, so Q can be written as, by this equation it as final energy. So let us take it this final energy as Ef and minus initial energy, so there is Ei. So the difference between these two will get you the energy difference. So therefore, so Q is equal to summation, there is sum of all the final products that is being formed, that is taken as the final energy, and minus summation of all the initial energies, so that is taken as Ei. So this is the difference between, so this is the Q value of the reaction. Now if Ef, that is final energy, is greater than the initial energy, then Q will be positive, right? So then definitely the reaction or the nuclear reaction will be called as exothermic, or it is also called as exorgic. Okay, now if Ei is or Ef is less than Ei, then Q value will be definitely negative. So therefore the reaction will be called as endorgic or